folks, welcome to an all-new episode of So Bad It's Good. This is your pal Ryan, and this is your Tuesday episode. How was everybody's Monday? Did you survive? I mean, you must have survived, because if you didn't survive, you wouldn't be listening to this unless there's some weird kind of podcast system in heaven or the other place. Who knows? But I'm so glad that you're here. And like I said, I hope you're doing well. It was a really good Monday, I think. I was on Jeff Lewis this morning with Crystal Minkoff, and I got to announce to Jeff that I'm engaged. I don't know if you heard Monday's episode, but I am engaged, and it has been so nice. I mean, so many people reached out, and so many nice messages of people that I don't even know that reached out and had such nice things to say, and that just meant the world to me and to both of us. And I was reading Rebecca some of the messages, and it was just really, really, really cool. And I'm so incredibly lucky. I'm so incredibly lucky to be here. I mean, first off, just to be here, but I'm just I feel really incredibly lucky after the last couple of years, and I'm just really excited for the future. But you're not here to hear me talk about any of this crap. You want the dirt. I don't even know. You might not even want the dirt. Who knows? Today it's just going to be us. So we're going to do some Daily Mail, some stuff where I just read Daily Mail headlines and talk about entertainment, pop culture, and then we're going to do something. I have found my crystal ball, my Bailey ball. I found my Bailey balls. This is not starting off very solid. I've found my Bailey crystal ball, and we are going to look into the Bailey crystal ball, and I am going to make Bravo predictions. That's right, folks. I am going to, without no kind of proof or knowledge, I am going to predict certain things that will be happening in the Bravo sphere over this next year to year and a half. And what I want from you guys, if you can, because my clairvoyant powers, my psychic powers, they're strong. But I think sometimes your guys' powers with this are so much stronger. So what I would love, my dream would be that you would add to these predictions. That you, if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're listening to this on a podcast, Spotify, I know you can type in some comments. Don't make them insane. I mean, you can make them a little insane, but I would love to hear what you think will be happening in the Bravo universe. Like last week, if we had done this last week, we could have had a prediction where Jax Taylor will lose his bar. Jax Taylor will say he's stepping away, but he's actually lost his partnership with the people that run Jax's saloon. That would have been a great prediction last week, and you would have been like, oh my God, it came true. So we can't do that one anymore. And yes, I've had so many people message me today to say that the Jax's Studio City, the sign that was taken down on Saturday, is now back up. And I still do not have an answer for you on why it is back up, but my guess, the easiest answer that I can possibly think of, is a lot of people talked about it. I mean, within this Bravo circles, it didn't make like national news, thank God. It's not Scandival. I can't believe this made national news, dude. It shouldn't be on CNN, dude. We got to talk about tariff. That just made me think, when are we going to see Tom Sandoval on reality TV again? We had him on Traitors last year. I guess he was just on America's Got Talent. But when will Tom Sandoval get another project on? Oh, he's on House of Villains, which will be airing on Peacock this next season. So Tom Sandoval is going to be on the new season of House of Villains. They took it off E! Man, they're taking everything off E! They just canceled E! News. They lost House of Villains. And don't worry, it's kind of all within the same company. They just made a split. So you're going to see the next season of House of Villains on Peacock. So I'm sure they will rerun it on Bravo at some point. But my thing about Jax is I bet they put the sign back up because they got a little bit of attention and they wanted people to be like, yo, remember that place that you just saw potentially on the news or TMZ or the Daily Mail? It's right here. We put the sign back up so you would actually know where we are, because it still is a business. What I'm curious about, though, what was the financial split with Jax? Like I said on Monday's episode, he put no money into that place. He was very proud of that he did not put $1. They used his name. So I'm so curious about what that financial split is. Because also it's attached to Rocco's, this other bar. Like you can, it's the same space, it's the same owners. So I'm very curious what that split is and where they'll be going with that bar space next time. I'm just very curious. I'm curious if Bravo is doing some sort of pickup shots with that sign. I don't know. Something's amiss. And the thing is, why I made my original post on Instagram so kind of up in the air, I even was nice enough to say, is it a rebranding? Are they getting a new sign? And then Jax went and posted something on his story saying he was stepping away. So if he says he's stepping away, there is no need for that sign. So why is that sign back up? And I just think maybe it's just brand recognition at this point, and you'll see that sign come down in the next week. So that's a little bit of prediction, but that's not part of the Bravo prediction segment, okay? That is not part of it. Now, I've been screaming about this Billy Joel documentary so much that I'm sure people are tired of hearing about it. But I got to say, I watched a little bit. I've now watched the full thing, but I keep going back and watching different segments. And that's, truly, that's what I love about pop culture. Because sometimes the Bravo stuff, for me at this point, like there are certain things that I love. I just watched the first part of the Valley reunion tonight. I can't wait for you guys to watch it. We'll do a full recap of it on Thursday. I say recap, but it's pretty much just like a one-man play done by a very bad actor. But I think Brittany really steps up to bat. She really, it's a very strong showing on the first part with Brittany. And there are a lot of things for her to be upset about. And I thought she handled herself well, but she made a lot of points and gave us a lot of information. And so I thought the first part was really entertaining, but it's also interesting because you have to bring in the other characters as well. And everybody's kind of playing nice in the first part, except for the Jack stuff and some offhanded comments here and there. So it's really, I would imagine, start devolving in the second episode and then come to a culmination in the third episode. That's what I hate the most about reunions. I'm like, Bravo, if I swear to God, I would pay you an extra $20 just to give me all three of the reunions at once. Like, I know they have to draw it out and keep people talking about it, blah, blah, blah. But my God, come on, man. There's 30 other things on TV that I know you want to keep us on Bravo, but like, come on, man. Also, that goes back to an idea that I had a long time ago. I wish for the summers they would give us off. They would just not put anything on Bravo, or they would they use the summer to teach the history of Bravo. They have this great channel on DirecTV called the Bravo Vault, where they've been airing classic seasons of Beverly Hills, Flipping Out, Shaws of Sunset. And it's on DirecTV. I don't know how long that channel's been on. I just discovered it a couple months ago, but it's so great. I found myself watching old season of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills last night. It was the one where Kim was praying by a trash can. And Lisa was like, I just thought it was odd. You were praying by a trash can. And Kimberly's like, God is very important. And if I will drop to my knees and pray to him at any moment. It's they don't make shows like that anymore, because now we have big storylines where we lose on some of the minute characters. I mean, the minute characterizations, the quirks. We don't get to see nearly as much of the quirks. And I just sometimes miss that. And I know you can't go back. I know we've had so many things built past that it's hard to go back to not a more subdued Housewives, but a Housewives that really kind of appreciates why these women are so unique to begin with. And really putting the main focus on just the personalities of these women and not so much of the big thing that's going to get the women into a fight. It's I don't know. It's the characterizations and the personalities that it feels a little bit homogenized. We've been there. We've done that. And I'm not trying to shit on Bravo. This happens with all reality television as years go by and seasons go on. But I do think sometimes I wish they would inject a little bit more of the quirks. And I hate to use this as an example, but Jax Taylor, we spent so much time with him that even on season 1 of The Valley, when we found out that Jax Taylor was spray painting his bald spot. Do you remember that? Jax was losing hair and he started spray painting it. He spray painted his bald spot. And that is such a minute, weird quirk detail where it says so much about Jax. Is that he's vain, right? There's vanity involved, but also that he's potentially lazy because he won't actually go do the thing that will solve it medically, even though he'll go get Botox, all of this stuff. So it also shows an aspect of laziness where he will then go, well, it'd be easy if I just spray paint the bald spot, and it's something we're like, Jesus, Jax, no, don't put that chemical on your bald spot. But he did it. And if we didn't feel the way we did about Jax because he potentially, abused Brittany, those are the kind of moments that I love about reality television. Those are the so bad it's good moments. In fact, on Friday's episode of Jeff Lewis Live, I just listened to it on the drive back from San Francisco. He had Vicki Gunvalson on with Patty Stanger. And Vicki on the first hour, what I love about like those shows, like Jeff is friendly with these people and knows them to a degree where they're very comfortable and they just kind of like say things. They spill their real details. And this is probably a little TMI, so it's not pleasant for anybody to hear this. But there was this great bit where Vicki says she believes she also got a parasite filming Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Morocco, the season that we will never see on Bravo because of the situation that happened between Brandi Glanville and Caroline Manzo, and wherever we are in the legal process with that situation. But Brandi came out and said she got a parasite potentially from Morocco and that it's moving all around her face. So Vicki says she believes she got a parasite in Morocco too. And then she revealed, I don't even think this part this might not even have something to do with the parasite, but she happened to mention that she has a really hard time going number 2. She goes number 2 maybe once or twice a week. And I'm like, get her back on season 20 of OC, period, point blank. Like, my God, I was like, this is the quirk I'm talking about. And yes, it's gross to talk about like bathroom talk, but come on, we're professionals. We can hear that kind of stuff. But how Vicki Gunvalson is it to potentially order and then she goes, yeah, sometimes I'll go and it's just like a pellet, just like a little pellet. I'm like, Vicki Gunvalson pooping like a rabbit. Amazing. It makes me miss Vicki Gunvalson. That kind of raw honesty. And then she talked about she got like one of those sweat lodges. What are it has like the red light therapy, a sauna. She got like a sauna for her house, like a 3-person sauna for her house. And she just sits in there for like 45 minutes, an hour. And I'm like, is that good? Like that can't be helping the bowels. And I'm like, what? Like and then she just said she thinks that whole cast of Ultimate Girls Trip Morocco, they all got parasites. She was like, yeah, they filmed that thing like I think 3 years ago. Would the parasites still be that active in the body? And it could have just been food poisoning. They were in Morocco. It's a different, like it takes a second to get used. Like, I mean, really? We're just saying parasites across the board. And then admitting that you only go to the bathroom once a week. And the obvious joke is how full of shit is Vicki Gunvalson? But my God, I was about to say you wouldn't catch me ever saying something like that, but I know I could just be rocked with like 80 things that I've said in the course of this show or on Jeff Lewis's show where I've legit, so I totally, I guess, understand it. But that's not the poop, but that kind of just talk where it doesn't have to be fights. It's just the fact that like somebody like Vicki Gunvalson exists in the world. We share the same sky as Vicki Gunvalson. And I think a lot of us are nowhere near Vicki Gunvalson. And I don't mean like we're worse than, I'm just like, that's what we call a character. And you just let her go. You let her go. Didn't she talk about like peeing herself last season when she was like a friend of, anywho, I do miss those little quirks. Sometimes I think those little quirks suffer in lieu of, or like for having like, they'll go with a big story over little quirks. And sometimes I think like that's where Scandival really hurt, or Erica Jane and Tom Girardi in that mess. These big public discourses that everybody, I mean, like the Reddit of it all, like the detective work of it all. And sometimes the detective work of it all is, to me, getting a little, I want to see women and who they are and the characters that they are. And the men as well. Like, we're all these special snowflakes. We're all unique in some way. And I want to lobby for more of that, of just watching like a character study of 7 women. They don't even have to hate each other. I mean, that will happen naturally, but let's get back to that. Okay, listen, I just thought this was going to be a simple, easy breezy episode, and I just did 15 minutes on Vicky Gunvalson pooping. So happy Tuesday, y'all. Oh, wait, to the point that I was just talking about. I've been telling you guys since Ozzy Osbourne passed away, I've been refamiliarizing myself with the Osbournes, the MTV reality series of the early aughts. And it was just pure characters. Ozzy was a character. I mean, like I said, there was a whole episode about Ozzy going to Chipotle because I love burritos. Sharon, do you want a burrito? Jack, do you want a burrito? I love burritos. Oh, don't touch my burrito, you dog. Like, that was a whole flippin' episode. And it was amazing because it was just based off a character. I mean, it was based off a human, but that he existed. So anything was entertaining. He could literally just like be playing with a remote control. How can I get this remote on the television? I just thought too, there's only like Ken Todd, Lisa Vanderpump's husband, is like so close to being Ozzy Osbourne. I can't believe Sandoval's in the jacuzzi with Raquel. I can't believe that. Pretty soon, Ken Todd on the new season of Vanderpump Rules will be like, oh, Lisa, I like a burrito. I would watch it. Okay, enough of this silliness. Now, some movie news. This is very, to me, interesting. You know, I'm a geek. I love comic books. Yeah, I know. I contain multitudes. But Brandon Sklenar, who is on that Yellowstone spinoff, but also was in the It Ends With Us movie that has spawned the Lively Baldoni Great Debate of 2025. He has been rumored to be playing the new Batman in the James Gunn DC universe. And his trainer posted a photo today with Brandon Sklenar with his shirt off. And it looks like Brandon Sklenar now has like a 12-pack. He's completely ripped. And the trainer in the caption was like, it's a great honor to be preparing Brandon for the biggest role of his life. Now, unless this dude's playing like Abraham Lincoln, I know of no bigger role in film acting than Batman. I mean, think about all of the great, iconic Batmans that we've had so far in terms of just actors that portrayed Batman. You had Michael Keaton. You had Val Kilmer. You had George Clooney. You had Christian Bale. You had Adam West on the old TV show. And then, of course, recently, we had Robert Pattinson. And so Brandon Sklenar, I mean, this looks to, I think you're going to hear that announcement in the next month or two. I'm shocked that they didn't announce it this past weekend at Comic-Con. Now, those for people that care at all are wondering, wait, I thought Robert Pattinson was Batman. Is that Batman done? No, this is how geeky we're about to get, is that does not exist. Robert Pattinson's Batman does not exist in James Gunn's DC universe. I fucking hate the multiverse. I just want one universe. Know what will really piss me off? If Bravo like does a multiverse at some point and they're going to be like Southern Charm of Earth 2053. Like, I just want one. I do not like multiverses. It just gets too confusing. I want there to be real stakes. And if a character dies, I don't want to be like, well, they exist in a billion other universes. Like, F the multiverse. Truly, F the multiverse. But Robert Pattinson's Batman is directed by this guy, Matt Reeves. Amazing. He's taken way too long to finish the Batman 2 script, but it is finally finished as of a couple of weeks ago. So that will not take place in the Superman universe. The Superman movie that just came out a couple weeks ago, that is part of James Gunn, the director who is now in charge of the DC universe for Warner Brothers. They are still casting their Batman, and that looks to probably be Brandon Sklenar. And, he's getting more popular and more popular, but he's also still underground enough where he would not have the pressure of like a really famous, like if they put, I'm trying to think, like Brad Pitt's too, like John Hamm or some shit like that, right? We know John Hamm at this point. Brandon Sklenar, he's done a lot of projects and they keep getting more and more successful, but we don't know him enough so he can really kind of, I think that potentially would be a good choice. We are still getting Batman 2 with Robert Pattinson, but this would be a different Batman for James Gunn's universe. So in news that is probably only exciting to me. Now, here is some more news that is probably only exciting to me. I talked about this a couple of months ago, but you know that Quentin Tarantino movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, with Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt playing Cliff Booth? And Brad Pitt won an Academy Award for that role. Well, they are making a sequel to this movie, and it is a Netflix movie. And after Happy Gilmore 2, I don't know. I love Adam Sandler, but I said my thoughts. Maybe that film will grow on me, but I sometimes don't love when movies are made just for Netflix because I also want to save the theater-going experience, even though I myself have found it very hard to go to a movie theater, but I just still love the magic of going to the movies. So this one, though, is not going to be directed by Quentin Tarantino, the sequel. It is based off a script by Quentin Tarantino, but it will be directed by David Fincher, who is a damn good director. Are you kidding me? But Brad Pitt will be reprising his role as Cliff Booth. Leonardo DiCaprio will not be starring in this, though I would imagine you will see him pop up in a cameo because, let's face it, Netflix can afford it. So they have just started filming in Los Angeles. And there are certain parts of the city that have been retrofitted to the late 60s, early 70s vibe of this film. And that is, to me, the magic of Hollywood, too, of being able to do these big budget productions where they are able to take you back in time. That is very expensive. So for me, that was exciting. I loved Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I'm curious to see what this second film will be. And also Brad Pitt coming off the success of F1. F1, I still have not seen that movie about the old race cars. That movie did okay here, but overseas, it did insanely well, and it's still going. It's made $500 million at the box office, but primarily most of that money comes from overseas markets where movie stars still exist. Like Tom Cruise has made, like, the last 15 years of his career, he has survived. I mean, not primarily, but a huge part of his survival and why he is still as big as he is because of his foreign sales, like how well he does at the box office overseas. And I think Brad Pitt, you can put in that same category. So that is another exciting thing. Another exciting thing that I think maybe a lot more of us will care about is that HBO has just renewed The Gilded Age for a new season. They just did the finale, but they are fully a go on a new season for The Gilded Age. So all of you people that love The Gilded Age, you will have another season. So that is great Hollywood news. Now, this is kind of a sexy news story. If there's kids, kick the kids out, because we're going to be talking about sexual toys that are used, erotic toys. This feels like ASMR now. I want to do ASMR. Can somebody teach me how to do ASMR? Do you just get close to the mic and go, I'm scratching the mic right now? That's what I'm making sounds. But get ready to get knocked off your watermelon sugar eating ass, because Harry Styles is not releasing a new album, but he is releasing sex toys. That's right, folks. You heard it here. He is releasing sex toys. Now, I guess he had started this company called Pleasing in 2021, and it was creating like unisex products like nail polish, shout out Tom Sandoval, skincare, clothing, and now it is going into developing products in the sexual wellness category. And they just recently announced in this last week that there is a new offset of this company Pleasing called Pleasing Yourself. I swear to God, this is completely true. The main item, then there's a little graphic. If you get, if you're repressed like me, this might make you feel awkward. The main item is a double-sided vibrator, vibrator vibrator, that is both cute and practical, the Cut reports. It's priced at $68, one away from $69, and offers both internal and external play, whatever that means. Plus, it comes in 2 different shades of pink and is a good size to use alone or with a partner. And there's a matching high-performance FDA-approved silicone lube. I love the fucking FDA, man. Like, I feel like FDA, like, they don't approve all, like, I mean, it takes them so long to approve, but they approve a silicone lube for Harry Styles, but you can purchase this alongside the FDA silicone lube. You can purchase alongside with this. I mean, I don't know if this thing is sold out already, but Style didn't design the toy alone. God, thank God. It's like Kylie Jenner and her lip kits. Like, Kylie was in the lab creating lip kits. He didn't design this toy alone. The vibrator was created alongside sex educator and author Zoe Legone, who detailed her favorite thing about it. She said, the button functionality. I love that the speeds of either end can be controlled independently and that the intensity can be increased with a single button push, or you can push and hold the button down and release it when it reaches your desired intensity. Now I'm just like brainstorming off that idea. They should make a like where you push the button and it also plays like a Harry Styles song. I think that would be huge. So more than a product launch, the launch campaign represents a gentle provocation, a nudge towards normalizing what's too often left unsaid. This is from the press release. It's rooted in the belief that pleasure is nothing to apologize for, that self-touch can be a love language, and that old rules haven't always served us. This was in the brand release. Pleasing Yourself launches this Friday and will be accompanied by a 3-day pop-up, the Pleasing Pleasure Shop in New York City until... Oh, wait, you guys, this was last week. It already closed. It was until July 27th. So if any of the baddies out there, any listeners, did you guys go to this pop-up? If so, please email me at sobaditsgoodwithryanbailey@gmail.com. Way to go, Harry Styles. And speaking of baddies, if you're a Patreon member, I want to remind everybody there's a live Patreon this Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We will talk for the hour about whatever you want to talk about. We can talk about Jax. We can talk about my engagement. We can talk about whatever your heart desires. It's always a lot of fun. I look forward to it every month. So come be a part of the conversation. And even if you can't make it, these things are up on YouTube through our Patreon afterwards. So you can watch me, talking to a chat for an hour. It's actually a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. Okay, moving right along. Maritza sent me this, and I thought it was interesting. You know the actor Julia Garner? I think she was best known for her work on Ozark from Netflix with Jason Bateman. She was also in the new Fantastic Four movie as the Silver Surfer. Well, I don't know if you guys remember this, was that she was cast to play Madonna in a biopic of Madonna's life that Madonna was directing. And if you remember, there was like these intense auditions for the role. It was like a boot camp where you had to learn a Madonna song and a dance and all of this stuff. And so many actors went through this, and Julia Garner won the role of playing Madonna, a young Madonna. So recently she was on the Smartless podcast, the amazing podcast with Jason Bateman and Sean Hayes and Will Arnett. And she shared an update. She said, well, because this film was supposedly canceled, like it was like so close to filming and it just didn't happen. This was years ago. She said on the podcast, she said, that's supposed to still happen. And she said that good things take a while. I think but she also grew up listening to Madonna's music. And she kind of wanted to see if she could do it in terms of the audition. She says, because I wasn't a trained dancer and I had to learn how to dance and then dance in front of Madonna and convince her that I can dance basically and sing with her. She then also detailed her audition prep, which included asking herself, okay, what would Madonna do? Which is convince you that she deserves, to be in this room. And I owned it. I was kind of like, you can take it or leave it, but if you leave it, I leave. And then that's on you. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm down for seeing this. Now, there are two different scripts that were written for this project, and one was written by Diablo Cody, and Diablo Cody wrote Juno, if you remember that amazing movie, and she's written so many other amazing things. Diablo Cody, I don't think gets her due at all, but man, a Diablo Cody Madonna script, I would love to read it firsthand, but I truly do hope that they make this movie because I would be first in line. Now, we also talked in the last month, Anna Wintour decided to step away from, her role at the iconic magazine Vogue. And this is from PopCrave, that Vogue's August issue has begun to use AI models instead of human models for some of their photo shoots. That's fucking insane. Anna, we're going to need you to never retire because that is bullshit. AI models in Vogue. I'm telling you, the AI is getting so intense and it is going to get so good at a point where we always kind of convince ourselves that there's no way they can, we're so unique, and we are to a degree. But when you have like insane computing power that has studied every one of our moves, every line of dialogue from everything that's ever written, and it just keeps learning from itself and learning from itself, it is getting very scary. I think this would be easy laws to pass where you cannot use AI when it comes to they're going to take every job known to man. Truly. Just think about all of the shitty podcasts that they're going to be able to replicate this podcast, no problem at all. But I saw that and just made me pissed. Also, an article in the New York Post with the headline, Brad Pitt, Nicole Kidman, and Hollywood elites are sitting ducks for a new breed of burglars, says a security expert. This was an article, obviously, from the New York Post, but it says that burglars and break-in gangs are using cutting-edge technology to pull off nefarious heists, and celebs like Brad Pitt, Nicole Kidman, and Keanu Reeves are not safe. It says a spate of home invasions, crafty break-ins, and the recent tragic double murder of American Idol music supervisor Robin Kay and her husband Thomas DeLuca inside their Encino home at the hands of an apparent robber have Hollywood on a high alert. No number of cameras and alarm systems are enough to outwit the gangs. They use signal jammers, which you can buy for a few $1,000s. Chris Herzog, security expert, told the Post. It jams the signal to your cameras, your alarm, and your mobile phone. It all turns off as if you were home and simply deactivated your alarm. Then the thieves dress as gardeners and show up a few hours before or after the real gardeners. They enter through the same gate as the legit gardeners and load leaf blower bags with your valuables. I've been told 50 or 60 of these signal jammer gangs. But we need Spencer Pratt on this thing. I think Spencer Pratt could actually fix this. Celebrities and athletes are frequent targets, as the public nature of their lives mean media-savvy thieves know when they're playing games out of town or promoting a movie abroad. They also use drones to surveil targets, according to the source. And then they use examples of a Dodgers player that his house was robbed 4 times when he was on away games. So this is another thing where technology is so good and so out of control, and then they are just getting smarter and smarter and smarter. I mean, this would, what was that Sofia Coppola movie about the break-ins? Oh, duh. It was The Bling Ring. The Bling Ring, which hit a bunch of celebs in the early aughts, where they targeted people like Paris Hilton and Lindsay Lohan, and they wound up stealing over $3 million in jewelry and money. This would be a great spiritual sequel to The Bling Ring, which also spun a pretty damn amazing reality show called Pretty Wild. And if you've never seen Pretty Wild, you are missing out. I don't know if where you can find that, but it was a 1-season wonder, I believe, originally airing on E! Exclamation point. And, Alexis Nyers, remember? I mean, she was part of The Bling Ring. That is just a perfect 1-season reality show, because they were trying to do this reality show, and then it just happened that they were also part of The Bling Ring, and this was happening at the same time. Iconic reality television show. My God, I might need to do a rewatch of that. So anyways, protect yourselves, guys. I don't know how to protect against signal jammers. Sorry to freak you out, but just wanted you to know. Okay, I have more news stories, but I'm going to save those for another day, because there's a good one about Kim Kardashian and AI. But let's get to the Bravo of it all. Bravo predictions coming up in a second, but I forgot to talk about this on Monday. There, Interview Magazine. Well, Craig Conover is the cover boy, and he did this very, very fun photo shoot of Craig in his garden. It's very well lit. He looks like he's having the time of his life. And this article is centered a little bit around his gardening. So I figured you guys would want to hear about this. He talked about gardening for the first time. He was able to explore his love of creation, because it's what really drives him, he says. So he went into the backyard and dug a big 6x8 plot and planted a bunch of stuff, but only radishes grew, because he didn't fill it with dirt and he had a bunch of sitting water. So he thought that was exciting. It was kind of his first thing. He was learning. He got this incredible feeling for harvesting food that he grew, and he would hand it out on the beach to his family. And that he kind of I guess I've never gardened in my life, but it got him hooked on this, right? And he says it really shapes you. He talks about having great parents, but, gardening has turned into this major hobby, and it was his first true escape. He says he's extremely ADD, which explains why he's so highly passionate about his hobbies. And he says that he's been fascinated with grounding recently. Not just theoretically, he says, but also in real life, just touching grass. I hope there's a whole episode of Southern Charm where Craig is just feeling grass. But he says, we're filming Southern Charm right now, and it's incredible. But one of the new girls, I tell her, you have to touch grass every once in a while. I love gardening, and I'm barefoot in my backyard all the time. I loved my chapters that I got to spend in New York City, but I went a while without touching the ground sometimes. So he's put maybe that's a little like Paige, the rough streets of New York, but I needed to get my feet in the soil. He says, I'm becoming what's the word? Hipster? No, a hippie or something. Craig literally said, am I a hipster? No, a hippie or something? I've always had a deep respect for nature. I grew up surfing and on the beach, and later in life, there's nothing I like more than visiting my bees or seeing my butterflies and hummingbirds. Man, this season is going to be wild. If Craig just is a beekeeper and he's the garden, everything. But he says he's very surprised to the reactions that his gardening has gotten from his cast, for something that's so healthy. But he also understands people's trepidation with his gardening. He says, life, it's hard, right? You start to see your parents and friends get older. He says, now I'm figuring out how to be happy on my own. I'm such a giver and a provider, and I love people so much, but it's just my way of being myself, and my activities are my happy place. I have bee suits at the house, but you can actually go out to the bees without your bee suit and let them land on your arm. Jesus, Craig, please don't. Craig, I'm telling you, they might have landed once. I'm telling you, wear the bee suit, man. Wear the bee. I can already see the TMZ headline. Craig Conover in horrible bee accident. But he says I can judge someone by how they respond to elements in my backyard. I love that Craig's backyard is also some sort of test that he gives women. I love it. But he says, that's why you should trim your plants and steer them in the right direction. There's so many metaphors in it, Craig says. Um, he talks about his favorite types of plants and what he does. And he says, I have to have a purpose for everything. So I do that by having themed gardens. A salsa garden will always be my favorite thing, but I'm now into a pizza garden. First off, salsa garden, hell, I'm down for a salsa garden. Like a pizza garden, though, does he grow cheese? That'd be great if he grows like pepperoni and cheese and like sausage. But he said for a salsa garden, he had tomatoes, cilantro, onions, jalapenos. And he goes, and then when you go out there, instead of just being like, what am I ever going to do with all this? You're like, I can make salsa. I think a cocktail garden is really fun as well. Growing different herbs that you can make cocktails with. You can do that on your windowsill. Planting pollinators is really fun because you're going to start to see butterflies and hummingbirds oh my God, Craig Conover's secret garden. I love this. Tomatoes and herbs will always be my first love. Well, not my first love because radishes were, but I have several different varieties of tomatoes and herbs. And my sister-in-law doesn't like green peppers, but then she eats one from my garden and she's like, wait, this isn't what they taste like. So this year I grew a ton of Roma tomatoes and herbs to make my own tomato sauce. Yeah, if you don't like green peppers, try Craig Conover's green peppers. I think you might then change your tune. So then he also talks about later on. Well, he talks that he says it's crazy to see it on merch that isn't ours in terms of his gardening things. I guess like Bravo lovers are making merch. But he says, I just got 5 gallons of honey on my first honey harvest. And people are like, are you going to sell it? And really, I'm going to gift it to a lot of the crew. We are going to do a gardening line, which is fun because I'm very utility focused. When I make stuff for the kitchen, it's for me to use. And God, just imagine, like, I think Craig like uses that honey in some sort of sexual like he just like Craig Conover dipped in just layers of honey. But he says, we have spent the last 6 months designing things that will be fun, functional, and stylish for the garden. I predict this will come out at BravoCon. He will have a booth selling this stuff. I swear to God. That's a Bravo prediction right there. He says, I've built a relationship with people, and having my store is always the most humbling thing. Yeah, no, I've been to his store, the pillow store. It's Sewing Down South. It's cool, actually. He also says it goes in a different direction. He says, people legitimately feel like they have a relationship with us. I'm a big 90 Day Fiancé fan, and I was in Toronto at an airport checking my bag, and Angela from the franchise was next to me. I've spent years watching her, and I legitimately almost was like, oh, what's up, Angela? And then I had to remind myself, you don't actually know Angela, Craig. Oh, my Angela and Michael-Angela? I'm Angela! Are you shitting me? If Angela pops up on this season of Southern Charm, I would freak out. Whatever keeps her off 90 Day at this point. My God. So then he talks about dating. And he says, so when we started filming this season, my strawberries were in bloom. And if I had a crush on a girl, I would take her into my garden and I would hit her over the head with a shovel and bury her. No, he goes, if I had a crush on a girl, I would take her into my garden and pick a strawberry for her and have her try try it. And then I have blackberries all over my fence line and sorry, I know this is actually cool, but it seems like a lot of shit going on in Craig's backyard. Oh my God, I can't wait for the new season of Southern Charm all of a sudden. And then I have blackberries all over my fence line and blueberry bushes by them. So you go and pick some blueberries and blackberries. I think fruit is very sexy. If you can grow any type of fruit that you can pick off the plant and eat it right there, I think it's an incredible way to flirt with someone. There's something sexy about eating fruit. Not the way I eat it, Craig. My God, I'm like, argh. There's something sexy about eating fruit. I don't know why, but maybe we sexualized it. Oh my God, are we going to see Craig fucking in his garden this season? Oh my God. And by the way, I'm sure half the people listening right now would be like, I'd watch that. Yeah, sure. Like, can you imagine? And then Austin like sneaks back in his backyard and has a threesome. Madison, get out of Craig's garden. I'm planting my seed. Stop. Madison, what are you doing in Craig's garden? But he says, find entertainment in the things that I find entertaining in terms of looking for a partner. I think love languages fluctuate. Words of affirmation are big, but I give with acts of service. I've realized I tend to date girls with dads that did a lot for them. I remember with Naomi, I would start her car in the morning, and I thought that was the nicest thing in the entire world. But her dad did that for her growing up, so to her, it wasn't a big deal. So started her car in the morning? Like, guys, I'm shitty for so many reasons, but I never even thought to start a call. Like, what? Is that like Craig's showing us that he's the ultimate man. He says, now I think I'm into quality time. I'm at a place where I've had so many experiences on my own that I'm really excited to travel with someone. I can find fun in anything. And I think that's why I hated the ending of Into the Wild. Into the Wild. Remember Into the Wild, the movie that Sean Penn directed, but also a great book? Did John Krakauer write that? Great book, great movie. Because I hated the end. Yeah, you hated the ending. The guy fucking died of starvation. Are you kidding me? He tried to live off the land. Craig, what are you... He goes, yeah, I never read it, so I didn't know he died. I was so mad at my friends for taking me. But he was like, an experience is only worth doing if it's shared. That's the place I'm in now. He says season 11 is going to be a monster season on Southern Charm. Everyone's going to be really excited. I haven't felt like this in a couple years. You get to see a lot of, people get to see your honey journey. You get to see a lot of new chapters in people's lives and some fresh faces. Southern Charm fans will be really happy. Austin and I are opening a wedding venue in Charleston, even though we can't. Oh my God. That's going to be the storyline, you guys, that Austin and Craig are opening a wedding venue. Bingo, we got it right there. That's a Bravo prediction that is of course, Austin and Craig, they opened a restaurant and now they're opening a wedding venue. It's going to be slightly more affordable than a lot of places down here. Oh my God, Sophie should have waited until this wedding venue was done and she could have gotten married there. But it's all in one location, so you can do your ceremony, your reception, and your after party there. Maybe I'll get my officiant license. Holy shit, maybe this is where I'll get married here. I just thought, I was like, well, I could get married here, and Craig could be my officiant. And if we can just keep him from not blocking me again on Instagram, I think that's going to be, oh my God, could you imagine Craig Conover officiating my wedding? That would be huge. Anyways, I wanted to share that. I just read that today, and I thought you guys would like that, okay? Now, let me get my crystal ball out, my big blue crystal ball, and let's get into some Bravo predictions, shall we? It is I, Ryaneth, and we will be doing the Bravo prophecies. You've heard it here first, folks. I've looked into the Bravo crystal ball. It's shaped like a golden wine glass that is chipped on multiple sides, and it's filled with all of the Ozempic and Ramona Pinot Grigio that you could ever want. And what did I see in this crystal ball? Well, I saw chaos, folks. Housewives chaos, Vanderpump fallout, lawsuits, deaths, podcast, and a Scandal sequel that nobody, and I mean nobody, has asked for. So let's go over some Bravo prophecies. Like I said, there's no basis in fact here. But these are things that I predict in the next year to a year and a half. Now, Jax Taylor has just stepping away, didn't get stepped away. I predict that not this season on The Traitors, but next season, Jax Taylor will be on that season of The Traitors. So not this upcoming one with Lisa Rinna. The next one, I believe Jax Taylor will be cast on The Traitors. Fight me. It's a Bravo prediction. That is what I'm seeing. He will also write a book. And he will write a book from the angle of being a man. His podcast was once titled In the Mind of a Man, and then I think there was a lot of complaints, so then it got cut to In the Mind of Jax Taylor. But he will write a book. He will write a book, and it will be called Trying to Be the Number One Guy in the Group Still. Or like Trying to Be the Number One Guy in the Group. Or it'll be In the Mind of Jax Taylor, formerly the number one guy in the group. Something of that nature. He will write a book, and he will also file for bankruptcy. Jax Taylor will file for bankruptcy in the next year. Now, that's what I predict for Jax Taylor. Let's see if any of those come true. Now, in terms of Bethany Frankel, the lady, obviously icon from Real Housewives of New York, and now she is a TikToker, and she does food review. You know Bethany's story, but she has recently moved to Florida, right? Is it Palm Beach? I predict that Bethany Frankel will run for some sort of office. She will get into politics. I believe Bethany Frankel will throw her hat in the political ring. Also, recently, I think this past weekend, Jill Zarin had her annual Cancer Foundation luncheon party thing. I actually was invited to this and I couldn't go. I got engaged instead. But she does this thing every year. It's a great cause in memory of Bobby Zarin. We miss you, Bobby. But I noticed so many Roni ladies were there, and so many Roni ladies are moving to that Florida area, right? Bethany Frankel, Countess Luann, I believe, has some sort of place down there. Jill Zarin, obviously there. Ramona Singer, obviously there. Sonia Morgan was just there. This one I'm seeing, it's murky, but will there be some sort of, not ultimate girls trip, because I don't believe they will call it ultimate girls trip, but will they have some sort of Palm Beach Roni show at some point? Maybe it will be a Peacock exclusive, but I am seeing something with these ladies. And maybe it's not, maybe it's a podcast. It's murky in my head right now. My powers are not as strong. And hopefully it'll get stronger as the years go on. But I predict that these ladies will come together at some point. And I'm seeing Florida involved. Also, this is a great prediction. I am seeing very clearly that Nene Leakes will be back on Bravo. Now, we just got the announcement this past week that Kenya Moore says she will not be returning to Real Housewives of Atlanta. Obviously, she was off this past season, a quarter of the way through the season, and I think the season did suffer for that. I just watched the third part of the Atlanta reunion. I thought there were some good moments. Obviously, a building season. It kind of petered off for me in the back half of the season. But she did say she will not be coming back for next season. I am telling you, Nene Leakes will be on Real Housewives of Atlanta this next season. And whether that's a friend of or a full-time cast member, that is yet to be seen. So bad it's good Bravo prediction. Boom! Okay. I am also predicting that Lala Kent, formerly of Vanderpump Rules, give them Lala, the Valley, she will write a second book in attempts to finally hit the New York Times bestseller list. She will write a second book about motherhood, but will also have tea about Ariana Madix and that last season. And she will also say that she cheated with Brock. No, that last part is not true. She will write another book. She will definitely write another book. And she will be pregnant again in this next year and a half. Mark it. Bravo prediction. Now, when it comes to Sheena Shea, her book, My Good Side, it has been out for a week. I actually just checked to see if it hit the New York Times bestseller list, but they did not have that data yet. Now it did hit, it did well on Amazon in one category I saw, so that's good. I think we'll find out tomorrow if it did hit the New York Times bestseller list. She's on the road right now. I just saw that they had to cancel the date in St. Louis, which was like the last date, so I'm not sure why they canceled that, but I believe the other events are still happening. Now, this is an obvious prediction, but Sheena will be more on the Valley this season. But what I'm predicting is that there will be a storyline between her and Janet. And I believe it will start strong and it will lead to some sort of fight between them by the end of the season. I am seeing that with my clairvoyant powers. And like I said, I want you guys to jump in on this. What are your Bravo predictions? Now, Andy Cohen, the mascot of Bravo. I believe that Andy Cohen will put out another book in this next year and a half, which will be part of his popular Diaries series. And all joking aside, I fucking love those Andy Cohen books. I'm just fixated with that dude, but his diary, I love his diaries. I listen to the audiobook. It's great. I love it. He will release another book, and I'm predicting in a year and a half, he will have a serious boyfriend that he will introduce his kids to. And it is not John Mayer. It is not John Mayer, but I am predicting that. I'm also predicting that Watch What Happens Live will go from 4 nights a week. No, sorry, it's 5 nights. One Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Look at me trying to Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Okay. It will go from 5 nights a week to 4 nights a week. I'm also predicting that Andy Cohen is going to do something outside of Bravo, but it will be based in interviewing bigger celebrities outside of the Bravoverse and outside of his radio show. This is going to be on another network, potentially CNN or MSNBC. MSNBC would make more sense because it's NBC Universal, but they will be hour-long interviews with iconic figures in pop culture of today and stars of yesteryear. Prediction, market. Okay, Lisa Vanderpump. This is Lisa Vanderpump. My prediction is there is, if you've noticed, she's got Vanderpump Villa, which is going to have a 3rd season on Hulu. Stassi Schroeder will be back for that 3rd season, but she is still with Bravo because Vanderpump Rules. She's like, it's me, I'm Vanderpump, and they're not following my rules. If this Vanderpump Rules reboot does not hit, she will leave Bravo and make her permanent TV home on Hulu. I think this is her one foot out. She's got this deal with Hulu going. And I believe when you see promotion, she promoted the hell out of that Vanderpump Villa as opposed to the last season of Vanderpump Rules. Now, I think she'll give a big promotional push for this next season. And I will say, from what I've heard from behind the scenes with some of the cast members, there's some really good details involving these cast members and what they've done previously for work that I think is going to surprise a lot of people. But I am predicting on this next season of Vanderpump Rules, there is going to be a sex scandal. There will be a sex scandal, and my clairvoyancy is not working, or I don't even know if that's the right term. There's going to be a sex scandal on Vanderpump Rules on the 1st season, towards the latter half of the season. I am predicting a sex scandal. Now, I don't know I don't know if that's cheating. I don't know if that's something more. It's going to be a sex scandal. There will also be same-sex relationships on this reboot of Vanderpump Rules, which, yeah, I'm down for that. Let's do that. Predicting that. Also, predicting that cast members of The Valley will pop up on this next season of Vanderpump Rules. Prediction, market. Okay, let's see. What else do we got in the Bravo prophecies? Kyle Richards will refuse to come out for one more season. She will not be coming out. She will not be making, I'm Morgan, I'm Kyle's special friend. She will not be coming out on this season of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but she will potentially be more open about this once she leaves Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I think that's just common sense. That's not even a prediction. Teresa and Louis. Teresa, icon from Real Housewives of New Jersey. Louis, I do believe there will be more financial impropriety. There was already some stories a couple months ago about Louis. I think something else will drop by the end of this year, and it will prevent Real Housewives of New Jersey being put. I mean, it's on pause right now, but I am predicting Real Housewives of New Jersey. You will not see a new episode until the last half of 2026. Unless they reboot it entirely. So Teresa and Louis, something else bad is going to happen for Teresa and Louis, and I think it will potentially affect their relationship so much that something legal will be involved, and it's going to be very sad. I think anybody can predict that. Also, I just want to remind people, Karen Huger is still in prison right now. She will get out in November, but I'm predicting she will be out sooner than that. And they are currently filming the new season of Potomac. And I predict that Karen will be in the final episode of this next season of Real Housewives of Potomac. And Andy will do an exclusive sit down with Karen Huger. Also, in terms of prison predictions, Jen Shah is slated to get out November of 2026. So we've still got a minute. We've still got way over a year. I predict that she will get out in June of 2026, and she will not be obviously in this upcoming season of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, but she will be a small part of the next season of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Mark it. Boom. Now, we are in the 19th season of Real Housewives of Orange County right now. The 20th season of Real Housewives of Orange County, which the 20th season of any Bravo, that's iconic. I predict they will bring the entire first season cast, not as full-time housewives, but they will do a nod, obviously, to their roots. Now, a lot of people are like, who else would you bring out? Will Tamra survive? I believe Vicky will be back in a friend of capacity. I do not believe Kelly Dodd will be back, even though some people out there are saying bring Kelly back. I do not believe Kelly Dodd will be back for the 20th season. And if she is, it'll be in some sort of cameo capacity, but not even a friend of. But they will bring back the entire first season cast in some form. Okay. Now, Charlie from Next Gen NYC. Charlie from Next Gen NYC is been on his Instagram posting photos with Omar, who, I mean, this Charlie guy, he is like, if Jax was into crypto and, lived in New York with with rich parents that didn't give him enough love. I mean, he's like a weird kind of cyber Jax. Like it's like a Jax for a new generation. I truly believe that. But Omar was Georgia's boyfriend. They broke up. You saw them in the season finale. But Charlie has been hanging out with Omar, and there's a lot of shit coming out with Omar and his financial improprieties and ex-girlfriends. There's a lot of stuff going around about this guy right now. But Charlie is now posting with him. We still don't have an official second season pickup for Next Gen NYC, even though I think it is definitely going to happen. But will they then include Omar in the second season? And will that be Charlie's second season storyline? Or Charlie doesn't seem to be doing a lot of interviews, even though I do think he's going to be on Watch What Happens Live this week. But he doesn't do the podcast circuit. He doesn't do any of that. So some people, that's kind of refreshing when somebody's not just whoring themselves out everywhere. Sorry to use that term. I don't mean that as a bad thing. In fact, Charlie, please whore yourself out on this show. But I'm curious if he's one of those people that won't even consider doing a second season. But if he's on Watch What Happens Live this week, I think it's a strong chance. And especially, I think, because we know this guy is broke. He needs money. So he probably will 100% say yes to that. Okay, the next prediction is it's just something I want. So we saw the success of Love Island USA, and what I think is part of that success is their turnaround time. They are able to put out episodes with like 2 days of editing. So I predict that Bravo will get into that game in some form and have a show that they will air once a week, that they will film 2 weeks prior and be able to edit and put it out once a week. but it'll stop a lot of like the rumors and speculation and the 10-month lag time we have from a season ending and then them going into editing and us seeing it. So I predict they will try some sort of format with one show that they will edit very quickly and put out very, very quickly. Bravo prediction. Now, Heather Gay, star of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, I believe she will come out and say that she has had an affair with a woman. And it'll come out in some sort of weird Heather Gay game of like, hey, let's all put our phones in the middle of the table and read like the most offensive thing. It'll be something like that. It'll be some game. And she'll say that she dipped into the lady pond, but just for one fling. I believe that will come out. Now, Lisa Barlow will have in this upcoming season of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, 6 product placements. Oh my God, that's going to be amazing. She will have 6 brands that she will find ways to work into episodes. 6. Prediction. Boom. Okay, this prediction I think is obvious. Salt Lake will be another banger of a season. It is going to be amazing, but it is going to be a very bad season for Bronwyn Newport. A very bad season that will truly affect her relationship with Todd on the show. That's a prediction. Also, they are filming Real Housewives of Rhode Island. I am predicting that will be a hit. I'm predicting that will actually be a refreshing hit where it will be an immediate hit. Prediction. I have one prediction that it actually is such a good idea that Rebecca told me not to put it in the show because I should try to sell that as a show. So yeah. Also, Bravo prediction. Some people said we will see Ultimate Girls Trip Morocco. I am predicting we will never see Ultimate Girls Trip Morocco. We will not see that season. We will never see that season. Okay, this is a tough one, and I'm not going to even predict who this will be. But I predict we will have a death of a housewife. But it's not going to be someone that is currently on a season. But it is going to be very sad. And you will see pretty much, it'll look like Andy Cohen's baby shower. You will see everybody, housewives, former, current, all iterations of housewives, show up to this memorial. That's a very dark prediction. I'm so sorry. Also, this is a prediction that we know. We will be getting reboots of Shaws of Sunset. But I'm also predicting that we will have a Valley spinoff set in the OC. And also, like I told you on Monday, Next Gen LA is potentially going to happen. But I predict we will get a Valley OC iteration. And remember, the Shaws of Sunset reboot is a Valley iteration as well. Now, the Flipping Out reboot, I would like to say that is in the bag. Hopefully we will see that in the next year and a half, but it's murky. I don't know. I'm not seeing that yet. I would love to see it. I'm not seeing it. In terms of Love Hotel, we will get a second season of Love Hotel. I am currently not seeing a Love Hotel, which a popular rumor based around the men, like a Tom Schwartz and not Austin, maybe a Shep. I am not seeing that, but we will get a Love Hotel second season with women. I do think, though, if we keep pushing, we will get a season of Love Hotel with men or a spinoff of that. We just got to actually watch these things so they have confidence in doing that, right? Also, Julia from Real Housewives of Miami. This will be her final season. Her and Martina, they will no longer be a part of Real Housewives of Miami after this season. Now, this is a Rebecca prediction. I talked also about this on Monday because she did, and she said this again. I watched the first part of the Valley reunion, and there's no effing way. But she says Michelle and Jesse Lally will get back together. Rebecca does not have the kind of psychic abilities that I have. So I'm saying in a professional manner, there's no fucking way. And this will be funny if I'm wrong on this one. And I don't know, I'll eat a shoe or something. Who knows? Prediction, Sandoval will not be on the Valley, but he will be on the Valley season 4. Denise Richards and Aaron Pfeiffer's, they are going through a divorce battle right now. Aaron seems like a real POS abuser, allegedly. But I predict that ABC will do a news exclusive on the Denise and Aaron relationship, like they did with The Housewife and The Hustler and the Jen Shaw one. I believe they will do a Denise and Aaron, Housewives and The Hustler, whole hour-long news special about their relationship. Now, this is not a prediction, but I've said this since the first year of So Bad It's Good. It's a prediction that I wish would come true. You know those little pop Funkos, little Funko dolls with the little big faces and little bodies? I so desperately want a line of those pop Funko dolls on Housewives and Vanderpump Rules cast members. Like you had a little Jax Taylor one, I would have like a little Band-Aid on the nose, and like James Kennedy could have like a little bottle of alcohol or something. I mean, it wouldn't have to be that dark, but come on, we would buy those in droves because the price point is good. It's like $18. Are you kidding me? We would all buy those. I mean, think about it. It's easy money. I also wish that Target would, they have like a great pop culture t-shirt section. I wish Bravo would license directly to a place like Target and start mass producing Housewives and Bravo related t-shirts. That's not a prediction. I just want that. Okay. Brittany Cartwright will be engaged by the end of 2026. A little bit of time, but I am seeing that Brittany will be engaged by the end of 2026. Okay. In terms of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, I am predicting that this will be Sutton Strack's last season on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I'll say, how can you say that about me, Ryan? Well, that's fine. I got 2 minor league baseball teams. I'm the board of a ballet company. I don't need Beverly Hills. I say, what are you talking about, Ryan? Oh, I miss doing that voice. Okay. Now, in terms of podcasts, now remember the Las Culturistas podcast hosted by Bowen and Matt Rogers, Bowen Yang and Matt Rogers. The Las Culturistas Awards were filmed a week and a half ago, and it will be airing on Bravo, I believe, like August 5th or 6th, if I'm not mistaken, and I can't wait to watch that. I predict that Bravo will do something similar, not in terms of awards, but they will do something similar by the beginning of 2026 with Giggly Squad. They will keep Paige DeSorbo in the fold somehow, and they will welcome Hannah Berner if Hannah Berner wants to come back, but it will not be a reality show. This will not be Summer House. It'll be something around Giggly Squad. Prediction. Market. Austin and Craig will date. No, I don't. That's just... I had something about Brandi Glanville in here. I just wrote Brandi Glanville, and I don't know what my prediction for that is. It's murky all of a sudden. But something with I think that just saved it. Something with Brandi Glanville will happen. Okay? And then finally, my last prediction is by the end of 2026, I will be part of a Bravo panel show where we will be talking about Bravo news stories, and I will be one of the panelists. If I don't know, my life coach told me to say shit like this. I don't know, you guys. I'd love to do that, though. If anybody's listening from Bravo, please let me in on that. So those are my Bravo predictions. That was a lot, and you might be rolling your eyes and saying I'm full of shit, and that's fine. But come on. I think I can be right on at least 40% of these, which would be huge in terms of my psychic ability. So most importantly, what are yours? What are your predictions? What do you think? It can be as out of pocket. It can be as crazy. There's no such thing as crazy on So Bad It's Good. So please give us your predictions. Put it in the Spotify comments or email us at sobaditsgoodwithryanbailey@gmail.com. And I can do a follow-up segment about this because this was kind of fun to think about. And I know there would be so many more that I got to sleep on it, but I wanted to get this out to you. So that is it for today, folks. I hope you had a good time. This was easy breezy cover girl. It was just I needed something light, and so I hope some of you enjoyed this. I mean, I hope all of you enjoyed this. But we'll be back on Wednesday. We got 2 directors from the Trainwreck docuseries on Netflix. One comes out today, actually. It's called Storm Area 51. It's a 2-part docuseries that I found really fascinating in terms of where we are in society and how the internet works. I think it's really, really entertaining. But we'll have 2 directors on Wednesday, and then Thursday we'll do The Valley, and Friday we'll do The OC. And shout out to my baddies, my Patreon. And that is it, folks. Have the best Tuesday that you can possibly have. Talk to you later. Bye.